Hello, friends. How's it going? This is Sean again, back with another video about 5 things you don't want to do in Japan. All right. I am from Japan. I was born and raised in Japan. My father is American and my mother's Japanese, and I'm from a small town called Miyazaki Prefecture. And now I live in the Nagoya region. All right. Yep, I live here. And so today I want to talk about 5 things you don't want to do in Japan. Obviously, I'm from this area, so I've seen a lot of tourists do this. I've seen, um, frankly, I have a lot of my American side of the family. A lot of relatives visit me during summer. I had my cousin over. I had my uncles, aunts. Yeah, all my relatives over. Um, yeah, so I can tell what to avoid in Japan, and I kind of want to talk about that in this video. All right. So the first thing I want to talk about is very obvious. Don't be too obvious with your don't openly show love in public. A lot of people do this. Obviously, there's a big Brazilian community. My wife is from Brazil, the Brazilian community. There are a lot of people in Japan from Brazil, from Thailand, from the Philippines. Very warm culture. And I was actually really surprised to see a lot of people do more than hugging and kissing uh, in the streets and all that. But it's great. Like I said, I'm married to a Brazilian. I really like the warm culture, but sometimes some of the things that people do on the streets it does surprise me. And yeah, just the culture is different here. So don't show love too obviously in public. I was actually with my friend the other day, actually about a year ago, at a gym, and this couple, there was a guy and a lady. This couple was hugging and kissing all the time. The whole time we were there for about 30 minutes. The first 30 minutes was just kissing and hugging. And I think they were a couple. I mean, I like the fact that they love each other, they're in love. But the thing that my friend told me was, "Omae, ide yareba ii jan," which means, dude, you can just go home and do that, man. Just do it at home. So I think, to be honest, that's how Japanese people would see that. So I'm just giving you a heads up. Just don't do it in public. You can do whatever you want at home. All right. So number two, this is a really big one too. Please wash. So please wash your body before going into an onsen. Right. So within Japan, there are people who think, particularly in the East and the West, we think differently about onsens. I love onsens, and so I'm from West Japan. I'm from Kyushu, and we tend to think that before entering an onsen, we gotta wash our body first, right? Um, People from the East tend to think that they don't need to wash their body first. The reason why we think that we should wash our body first is because you keep your body clean, and therefore, if you enter the water, your body's clean, so the water is clean as well. If you wash yourself now, the water is clean. Everyone else can use it too. Um, and when I moved up north for college, to a city called Kanazawa, it's East Japan, and they do it completely differently. They don't wash themselves; they just go into the bath immediately. So I was like, "Holy cow! How do these people manage to do that?" But the idea is, in Eastern Japan, they think that the bath's dirty anyway, so why wash before? All right, so that's kind of the difference within Japan too. But, depending on where you go, not a lot of people are gonna like that, the fact that you just go into an onsen and just, like, immediately go to the bathtub, people will not like that. So, yeah, just you're in a different country, so be aware of the rules, and I hope, you can wash your body first. Alright. Number 3, this is actually something that a lot of people think you cannot do, but in my opinion, it's okay, right? So this is a not a don't do, it's a do, or it's okay. You're allowed to do this, which is eating and drinking while walking. All right. Maybe back in the 80s or 90s, a lot of people would get upset at you, but now the world has changed. It's We live in the 21st century, and in Japan we actually have a lot of places called tabearuki, which literally means eat and walk. It's a tourist spot. A good one is Takayama City in Gifu. There's a place where you can just have like wagyu beef and some drinks. Just walk around the ancient city. It's really beautiful. Enjoy the view with some beef, right? So that's just a thing that we do nowadays. It's probably a modern thing to do. You may find some, obachans or jichans, which are grandmas and grandpas, kind of get upset at you if you do that. But basically, young people might, in my generation, we don't really care too much about it. So you're allowed to do this. All right. So I hope that helps. Number 4 and 5. This is related to table manners. The first one I want to talk about is when you eat, don't put your chopsticks in, don't stick it in your rice. So this is a really big one. A lot of people, when they leave their table, they actually leave their chopsticks in like that. They just stick it in, and if you want to go to the bathroom or if you want to go get your phone or something, and for some reason you want to leave your table, it's always good to leave your chopsticks in another place instead of in your rice bowl, like sticking in your rice, because yeah, the reason is, so it's a thing we do at our funeral, right? And when someone passes away, in Japan, we put some food there. So, like typically rice, and then we put the chopsticks in. So the person who passed away does not starve on the way to heaven. Okay, that's how we think. So even today, if someone does that, it gives me goosebumps. I'm a little scared when I see that because my mother told me a million times when I was a kid not to do that. I got slapped a lot. So even today, I'm kind of traumatized when I see that. I'm like, oh my God, what's going on? So a lot of people, I think my generation would think that way if they're raised in Japan. So just avoid that. And number 5, the next one is another chopstick story. That don't do when it comes to using chopsticks is another thing we do at funerals is that we use chopsticks. So when we cremate the body, we burn it, right? When someone passes away, we pick the bones with chopsticks and pass it to the next person with your chopsticks, and the next person takes that with chopsticks. So this is a thing we do at funerals and all that when someone passes away. So you don't want to do it during when you're eating something. So at the dinner table, when you're eating something, you don't want to do this. The rule is you got to pick something. If you want to give it to someone else, put it on something, so like a dish or a plate, and then the person can take it from that plate. You don't want to pass it along to chop people using chopsticks like that and exchanging food. That's not good. That's not the way to go, especially in Japan. So I don't know how you guys do it in your country. I don't know about China or Korea. I'm just talking about Japan. At least in Japan, it's a no-no. So please remember that. All right, guys. I hope I explained everything enough so that you understand. If you don't understand, please leave a comment. I'm open to answering any kind of questions anytime I see those comments. So please comment below. All right, guys. I'll talk to you guys in the next video. Bye bye.